Today is the last plant care day before leaving for Japan and the Philippines. I haven't started packing yet. I want to prioritize the plants first. Let's get going on that. Oh, is that a new leaf? That's a new leaf. I'm currently having the sunshade come out so that when I spray down the plant, it doesn't burn. I am not actually gonna have anyone watch my plants while I'm out because I have someone already taking care of my dogs, which is obviously a priority. I am going to take care of all of these plants right now, and I will pull it away from the windows by a little bit. Hopefully the light requirements means that it's gonna be okay for a little bit longer of a stretch, because I normally do take care of my plants every week, and we're gonna be gone for a little bit over 2 weeks. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. I mean, the last time that I went to the Philippines, I did have plants as well. We were gone for like the same amount of time. The plants were fine when we came back. I'm just hoping for the best, because I'm not gonna tell someone to watch my 2 dogs and my plants, because my dogs are a little bit more high maintenance as well. That's just too much. Just gonna make sure they get a good soak though. It's like the plant I care about the most. I don't have anyone else that is into plants. I feel like they're better off on their own than having someone who doesn't know anything about plants to take care of them. Does that make sense? Whenever I use this plant spray, which I've shown so many times, I am just gonna spray down the plant like this until it is completely soaked, front and back of the leaves, making sure that it stays out of the sun when it's soaked, because otherwise it could burn the leaves. Which is why I put the shade out like that. This is what I do when I'm trying to prevent pests. If I'm using the spray to actually get rid of any pests, I will spray it down like this and then leave it for a little bit, and I will wipe down every leaf. That's like just an attempt for me to try to get pests off. But that's pretty much the only difference. I use this spray to get rid of plants. I mean, not to get rid of plants, to get rid of pests and to prevent them. I pretty much only get pests if I'm not good about using it as a preventative spray, because sometimes I do get lazy and then I don't spray it as I should. Like, this has gotten spider mites before. When that happened, it seriously got rid of it. I think I only sprayed it down twice and then it got rid of all the spider mites. When you're spraying this outside, which is ideal because I like to spray it everywhere on the plant, depending on where the wind is blowing, it like gets on you, but at least I know what's in it. If I am spraying it down just to prevent pests, which that is the case now since there's no more spider mites on this, I am just gonna let it dry on its own. And then I also spray the soil. And now we wait. There's also spray all over the lens, so let me take care of that. That does not need a watering. This one definitely needs a refill. This one's making a comeback. Look at those roots. I normally don't fill this up all the way, but I'm going to, because hopefully that means it's gonna last 2 weeks. It's like double the amount of water I normally do. So I feel like I should chop this at this node and then propagate it so it gets even more fall. You know what? I'm gonna do that, and hopefully by the time I come back from the trip, it looks better. I'm just gonna chop below here. Wait, let me double check. No, not there. Luckily, I checked before cutting there, because I would have chopped, like this one would have been fine, but then this one would have had no node because it's down here. So yeah, check your nodes before you chop, because otherwise you're just gonna lose a leaf for no reason. Just stick this in here and hope for the best. I think I should do more. It grew kind of funky because really I was just trying to save this, and there was really no other reason why I chopped it the way I did, other than these were the only viable pieces that were left. That's just a stem, but I've actually grown a variegated monstera from just a stem like that, so it does take longer, but I'm just gonna stick that in there. Hopefully something happens. I'm gonna cut here too and stick that in there. I would have put this in semi-hydroponics already in leca, but I don't know where my leca is, and I didn't feel like buying a new bag for just this small plant, even though you used to be an 8-inch beauty. I'm so sorry. Am I sorry though? I feel like I was taking care of it as the same as all my other plants, and then this one just decided, you know what, I'm going to die. Doesn't that look better already? I'm just hoping the pieces that I chopped actually propagate just fine. Usually there are no issues with propagating these types of plants. So I'm just gonna put this back. You can go right here. It's like not in direct sun. I think later in the day there is just a little bit of direct sun in this area, so it should be okay. But there is a giant window over there. Next, I'm gonna tackle these shelves, and then I'm gonna bring the variegated monstera back inside. Oh, if you care about anything vintage, like Facebook Marketplace finds, I just got that. I'm gonna insert a clip, actually, of me getting that along with, dang it, there was a fly in the house. Anyways, I'm gonna insert a clip of me getting this in addition to another planter that is vintage, and then we'll come back to plant care. If you don't care about stuff like that, just skip ahead a little bit. We are going to pick up a Facebook Marketplace find.
Beard.
Oh, it's empty. Okay. I just got home. I actually came here for just this, and this is a vintage crock. It is huge. It's like 10 inch in diameter. And it is this brown, it's a really dark brown color. Thought it was a little bit smaller so that I could store kitchen utensils in it, but it's quite large for that. This is actually perfect for plants because I don't have enough planters for the larger plants that I have, like over on the shelf. I only came for this, and I also got this as well because they asked if I was interested in any other things that they had. I don't even really know. It's like some sort of base. I just thought it was cute. Also brown at the top. The bottom has a like an unfinished base. I'm just gonna wipe them down because they're quite dirty. Ew. I hope the lemon tree puts out some lemons one day. We have a small lemon tree in the back. It hasn't produced anything yet, which is expected because we got a small one. Perfect. Cute. So there's the vintage crock. The plant was sitting on this broken plate before. These shelves need a lot of work with styling. I'm still working on it. Right now it's just random plants that I have. Some don't even have pots, like there's no planter there. There's no actual plant in that one. So still working on this, but that's a start. Not the most flattering angle, but you do what you gotta do because I'm not gonna get my tripod right now. You're on my mini tripod, which is what I usually use, but to get the good angle, this isn't it. I have a mix of plants that are in semi-hydro and some that are just in soil. I think all of my large plants are in soil because I don't want to deal with it in semi-hydro. But this is one that is in semi-hydro, the Dischidia Million Hearts variegated. Ideally, I would do an actual flush day and replace the nutrients, but I have way too much to do. I haven't even started packing for my trip yet, and I do leave in a couple days. So I am prioritizing my plant care to a certain extent. I can't do that much. Usually the water level in here, because the nursery pot is all the way down here, right? So it kind of starts here. So I would normally put the water level down here. I'm doing halfway and hoping that that's enough to still have something in the reservoir by the time I come back, or if it completely dries out, it's not gonna be as long as if I were to put the normal amount of water. Like it wouldn't have been sitting there for too much time without water at all. I hope I'm making sense. Sometimes when I talk and I'm editing, I don't know if it makes sense to anybody else but me. Because I have a mix of plants that are in soil and plants that are in semi-hydroponics, what I do is I'm not, like, I have it randomly placed on the shelf. Like there's a soil plant next to a semi-hydroponic plant. So in that case, I'm not going in order usually. I just will do the plants that are in semi-hydro first and then come back for the ones that are in soil, or the other way around. Especially because with semi-hydro plants, you don't have to wait for anything to drain. So that's pretty great. You just, you know, fill up, if it's not flush day, it's so fast. Fill up the reservoir and you put it back. I think that should be good. Surprisingly, the Stephania erecta, this is the most amount of leaves that it's put out. And usually by this time, Oh, it's like wobbly. Usually by this time, the leaves are gone because they do go dormant, but it's still hanging on. I am assuming by the time I'm back, it will maybe drop its leaves by then, but yeah, it's like a little potato. It will put out these cute circular leaves when it feels like it, usually in the spring. I have some other plants that are in semi-hydro, but they are over there. So I'm just gonna continue over here on the shelves with plants that are in soil instead. And I like to kind of focus on sections like this so I don't forget any plants. I don't think I've ever like fully forgotten to water a plant. Don't quote me on that. This was so pretty in California. Still hanging on. There's some new growth in here. So for plants that were kind of dying at one point when I moved to Arizona, people were asking if I have like a water softener, water filtration system. Yes, I do. Before I even moved in, I made sure that we had a water softener system and a whole house water filtration system. So I do have both. I am so proud of this plant. My Cebu, this is my OG Cebu Blue Pothos from Steve's Leaves. It's like one of my first plant unboxings. This was one that was dying when I got here, and it's like, that's so much new growth. Before you know it, it's gonna be prettier than it was before. I'm so proud of this one. I have 3 Cebu Blue Pothos, but this one's like the prettiest one because of like this bluish green color. The other ones aren't like that. The other ones I got here in Arizona. It was from the plant stand of Arizona. Oh my gosh. This whole time I wasn't spraying with the plant spray. See, this is what I mean by sometimes I forget. It doesn't guarantee I'm gonna get a pest if I forget, but it puts them at risk for sure. And when I notice that when I do remember to spray my plants, I don't get pests, so. Now I just circle back around and spray everything. Might as well bring the variegated Monstera back. That's where it normally stays, which is not the prettiest spot for it to be. I would prefer, like if the sun situation was the best, ideally it would be in the actual corner. I would put it in this corner where the camera is actually, if I could, if there was enough sun for it, because like just aesthetically, it would be the prettiest here. But it's randomly in front of the window like that because I want to give it its prime location. So typically it's sitting, if you can hear my husband screaming, I'm gonna apologize, he's playing games. So I'm gonna pull it just a few feet back, nothing crazy, but hopefully that means that being in a little bit more shade, it won't dry out as fast as it normally would if it just stayed in this location, if that makes sense. Hopefully that does something. If not, I'm sure it's gonna be okay. Fingers crossed. Back to this guy. Let me go ahead and spray this down so no pests come to invade when I am not home. Because if I come home to just a bunch of pests, I will probably cry because I am gonna pretty much come back to work and then my family is coming. So my parents, my sister, my brother-in-law, and my baby niece are all coming like right after the vacations. I'd be really stressed out if everything had pests on it and I had to deal with that in addition to, you know, like getting back to my routine and hosting for my family. I forgot this guy, and this is his semi-hydro one, so not bad. Oops. Oh, that's a lot of water. That's like, remember how I said I was doing like 50% for the semi-hydro? That's like 100. So let me just pour some out. I don't want to drown you. It's right about there. I wish I could show you, but it's just hard because there was like a tiny little sliver of room on the sides for me to actually see it. The camera probably wouldn't show anything, so. I also use that plant spray on my semi-hydro plants. However, I usually just spray them down when I do flush days, and I don't do it like every time I'm just topping off the water. I probably should, but this does not need a watering, so that's fine. Just 2 more plants in this section. Am I really gonna show you every single plant? If you're still here, you're awesome. I know I have some people who followed me just for the plants, and then I have some other people who are here for home decor, some who are here for both. So I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're here for just the plants. Hopefully someone is still watching. Worst angle ever. Can you hear Olive snoring in the background? That's like her cute snoring. She does like her old man snoring with who needs a CPAP. Only when I have patient appointments, my video calls, that's when she chooses to be the loudest snorer ever. Whenever she is hanging out in that section, she does her cute snoring, of course. Speaking of my dogs, I'm gonna miss them so freaking much when I am gone. The longest I've ever left Milo, since I've obviously had him the longest, is 4 days when we went to Cabo a couple years ago. And I have never left Olive before because we literally just adopted her. I am really excited for the trip, but I'm also very sad because this is gonna be the longest I have ever left the both of them. But I do have a close friend taking care of them, so I'm happy about that and I trust him. It's just that I'm usually with my dogs all day, every day. I love them to pieces, and because I work from home, so they are my little co-workers. They're like the worst co-workers ever because they're very disruptive, but they're so freaking cute. For plants that are vining like this, I don't usually spray all of the leaves going all the way down. It's like the bulk of the leaves that are just right here where the soil is. I kind of try to focus on that because I honestly don't want it to be dripping wet when I put it back. And that's the only reason why I do that. Pests can be anywhere on the leaves, like including the long vines, but I haven't really had a problem doing this. This one didn't need water. That one didn't need water. This one did not need water. And this Silver Glory did not need water either. So I think those will just be fine. The soil's still pretty wet, so I think they're gonna be just fine for a couple more weeks. You haven't noticed, I just hope for the best. We're almost done with the section. Almost. Oh my gosh. From the photo, I thought that this could sit over here for my kitchen utensils because I thought it was smaller. But if I put kitchen utensils in, like the color would be perfect for my kitchen, but if I actually put kitchen utensils in there, it would be ridiculous because it would be falling over. This is from the living room area and it's completely dry. Whoops, it's in some hydro. Other than it drying out completely, it looks great. Well, it's growing kind of funny, but the leaves look really pretty. Really need some water. Whoops. I think this is one that I have to pull back from the window a bit because I watered this last week for sure. Look how ridiculous that looks. It normally looks so cute in this corner right here, but I'm just gonna put it there. Hopefully that buys some time. I know it looks sad and wrinkly like this, but it is going to bounce back once all this water is absorbed since I just watered it. This one's quite far from the window already. I'm just also in summer hydro, so I'm just gonna do the 50% water thing. She's kind of heavy. Okay, I think that's good. This Sansevieria, which is not a ventral sensation, I was wrong in my last video. This is a Sayuri. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's what it is. And anyways, this is new, so I have not had to water it yet, and I still don't have to water it. This is drought tolerant, so it's gonna be just fine. I'm not worried about that one at all. It's the big ones left, unfortunately. I always start with the variegated monstera just in case, because before I touch any other plant, I need to make sure that I'm not touching anything that potentially has pests. That's like my insurance. I always end with the bigger plants, all the other ones. Ideally, I would have an entire thing full of my plant spray so I wouldn't have to make it in the middle of my plant care, but here we are. I am gonna make it again, even though I have made this a million times, I think, on my channel. Neem oil. I think it's like a teaspoon. My first video probably says something different, maybe a little less. I feel like with time, I've been a little bit more relaxed with how much I put in, because at first, I didn't know if it would harm my plants, so I was only putting in a little bit. So now I put in a good amount. Oh, that was Dr. Bronner's Castle soap. I use this around the house for hand soaps and things like that. It's just a concentrated soap. It is great. Peppermint oil. I'm almost out. Come on. 3. Come on. 4, 5. Okay. like 5 to 7 drops of that. Normally it comes out a lot faster, if you're not running low. Just gonna swirl that around and then fill up the rest with water. How many ounces is this? 16 ounce, I think. The healthy kombucha bottle that I upcycled. That's good enough. Put that back on. And we're good to go. So I've done all of the plants out here. I really only have the primary bedroom and my office left, but they're big ones, so let's go do that. I came all the way in the office and I don't even have the watering jug, only the plant spray, so I'll be back. Okay. Ideally, I would take this whole plant outside and spray down the leaves, but I'm not gonna do that. It's too much effort for me right now, so I'm just going to spray the soil, and that should be good, I hope. That one was technically still dripping, but did I have time to sit here and wait while I only had one plant left before I can move on and do other stuff? No. This is where the plant was, so it's gonna randomly be over here. That looks so ridiculous, but it's a few feet back from the window now instead of like right next to the window. This umbrella plant is my last plant that I have to water, which I'm very excited about. I don't even have a pot for it anymore because I stole this pot to use for the new Sansevieria that I have out in the front because I was prioritizing. When you walk in the door, you see that plant, and this one's just in our bathrooms. I have to get another pot for this one, but yeah, it's just in a trash bag right now, which I had as a liner anyways in it. Doesn't look as cute as it could look. This one I'm gonna leave in the same spot that it was already in because I haven't watered it last week. So for the windows over there, light coming in, like there's still light, obviously. It's not as much light as before the seasons changed. So I don't think I have to actually put this one anywhere else. Like it's not gonna be in a random location. So I am gonna give that some time to drain in there. And then I'm just gonna stick it right back where I had it before since I didn't have to water it last week anyway, so it should be fine. That's it for this video. If you stay till the end of me taking care of all these plants, you're awesome. Let me know down below if you actually did. I am going to be vlogging in Japan, maybe the Philippines too. Most of the trip is in Japan. So if you wanna watch that, those are probably coming up next week. That's it, thanks for watching, bye.